Welcome, everybody, back to the Crimson 15 podcast. I'm your host, Crimson Sin.
I'm Ep14 PCA.
And Native 454.
And on today's episode, it's going to be a special Spider-Man spectacular episode because with Homecoming coming out, we're going to just kind of reminisce on Spider-Man as a character, how we feel about him, everything where we learned being from a kid to being now an adult, how we feel about Spider-Man. So, being a big comic book fan back when probably early 90s, we were all about the X-Men. That was our team. We watched the X-Men, we read X-Men comics.
Oh, yeah.
I collected the X-Men trading cards, we played X-Men video games. So we knew of Spider-Man, I knew his powers, I knew how he got them, I know his uncle died and all the basic stuff, but I wouldn't say I was like a super huge fan of Spider-Man. I just knew of him and I liked him, for the most part.
Yeah. For me, it was basically, I'm a little different perspective because I'm the oldest. Out of my other two brothers here, I was born in the mid-'70s, so I had a different perspective of Spider-Man. I kind of got, when it was a little bit more, I wouldn't say simpler, but different in a lot of ways. I first saw him when I was watching The Electric Company. That's my first memory.
Which was like a Sesame Street,
Sesame
elementary
Street
type. Well, I would say educational.
Educational show was between 3, 2, 1 Contact and, and friggin' on PBS and Sesame Street.
Like you're going to have to Google those things because I can't know what those things are. But you know what, that's funny because it is so strange because it literally is Spider-Man teaching kids like safety tips and stuff.
Yeah, basically.
So he's really not even fighting baggage. It's a guy in a suit. Like it was like a character, like a recurring character. It wasn't in every episode, but he was in some episodes.
Like, oh wow, that's cool. Look at this guy doing this. Oh, that's really neat. It wasn't until later when I found out about the origin story and how Peter Parker came to be. And I was like, oh wow, now this is actually a Marvel character.
A
superhero thing. So I got a little bit more perspective on that. And I think the best, for my thought, I remember Spider-Man, when I really hit his stride was the Spider-Man cartoon in the 90s.
Yeah.
As far as TV goes.
Yeah. That's where I probably learned all of my stuff about Peter Parker and Spider-Man. And the more the nuances. I knew, of course, everyone knows who Venom is. But Mysterio and Dr. Ock, I knew about their origins of the Vulture and the Sandman and Hydro Man, that Hydro guy, that was a big character in the cartoon.
It's a great show. It was on Fox. It was excellent at the time.
And the guy who played Greg Brady and Brady Bunch was the voice of Peter Parker.
He was.
And they had a cool opening theme song.
Oh, yeah.
The animation's a little rough now. You go back and watch it. It's but
the stories are still solid.
Yeah. And it was funny because we would watch the X-Men 90s during the 90s. X-Men cartoon and then Spider-Man would come out. Talk about an hour of entertainment there.
It was great.
Mm-hmm. And then I remember from Spider-Man is when I would go with you guys to comic books, and we would see comic book shops, and you would see that iconic Spider-Man by Todd McFarlane, where it was the black, and he had the Venom suit, and he was flying through the town, and that was just my classic way. I actually even looked it up on my phone right now, just looking at it. It's so iconic for me. That's I think a Spider-Man is that iconic superhero running in. He always has other mutants and superheroes coming in to help him, and he's helping them.
And what really drew me to the character, what I always liked about him, was just tons of Marvel characters that I knew in passing, but I never really kind of liked them or not. But Spider-Man was because he was a kid, and he was a kid who was picked on, but when he was Spider-Man, he got to be the strong guy. So that's why he's always kind of talking crap and always telling jokes, because when he's Peter Parker, he can't do those things.
No.
Yeah. But when he's Spider-Man, he feels like, oh, I got this mask on. Now I can be that cool guy I always wanted to be, who gets to crack the jokes and you make fun of people because, I got the strength now and people can't push me around.
Yeah.
I get to be the good guy now.
Yep.
Come up. And I always like that concept of Spider-Man where he had the duality of Peter Parker, the nerd, and then the superhero who's strong and, just kind of, I don't want to say he wasn't mean, but he got to be funny. Yeah. He got to feel like he can be himself without being scared.
Yeah, he could say what he wanted in his mind and not be afraid of, oh no, I don't want people to get
And I think also when you go back to the original origins, I will love about Spider-Man is the fact he's vilified. People don't think he's a hero. Some people do, most people don't. I
want to say the people who actually help. No, he's a good guy, but for the most part, the newspapers, they always a menace.
Yeah.
Vigilante.
Yeah, exactly. He was kind of that guy. He's like, what do I have to do to prove myself? No matter what he does, he'll never prove it to them that he's a hero,
Or it's like something happens and then a bad guy would be doing something, he stops the bad guy, but the only time people see him is he's chasing the bad guy. Oh, he's following him, they're working together. No, he's actually trying to stop him. That goes to show you that how the news can literally paint something a certain way, because if you only see it from one angle, it looks like he is following him. No, he's not helping him, he's trying to stop him. He's not trying to help him break into the bank or whatever.
And one of the things also, I think I just iconic with Spider-Man that I really like is the idea that he, no matter what choices he makes, it ends up almost being negative form.
Yeah, it always hurts him
Yeah.
personally, but it helps others.
Yeah, and I like that.
Self-sacrifice is a hero trait.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I like that because sometimes that happens in life. You know, you try to make the right decisions and the right moves, and it ends up not working.
Yeah, like a case in point with that is if you look at the two dichotomy between Spider-Man and Peter Parker. Spider-Man is a hero, but yet Peter Parker doesn't get the girl in the end. Peter Parker doesn't get to have that happy ending.
Yeah.
So that proves no matter all these powers he has, he still can't achieve what he wants to achieve.
And then the whole point, like if anyone doesn't know the origin of Spider-Man, is when he did try to use it for his own gain, he ended up hurting his own family.
Exactly.
So there's that whole thing where he feels it's guilty because if he would have stopped that guy when he had a chance, he never would have shot and killed his uncle.
Yeah.
Uncle, yeah.
So being that selfish jerk cost someone their life.
Yeah.
If he would have been old school Peter Parker, even though he probably would have got his butt kicked, he still would have been like, "Hey, buddy, don't steal that." But you know, it goes to show you that that's self-sacrifice now. So he always has that on his conscience that if I let this one slip, something bigger can happen.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I would say another memories of Spider-Man was in the video games.
Oh yeah.
I remember the Super Nintendo games, the beat 'em up ones,
Yeah.
and those were fun. And then they had the Maximum Carnage game, and I remember just because it was a red cartridge, that was
Yeah.
like the coolest thing ever. It's like, oh wow, that's so different from any other Super Nintendo game that had a colored cartridge.
Was there a game with Spider-Man and Fantastic Four in it?
There's an arcade game.
Yes,
Yeah,
it was.
that's what I was thinking because like I remember playing that one a lot.
Yeah, I forget what that one is called. I know there was like a Sinister Six game, but that was
Yeah.
Nintendo.
That
I
was-
think.
yeah.
It's funny about that game that my brother just mentioned here, Maximum Carnage. So funny about that is LGN made
Yeah.
that game, and it's not a bad game. And
It's
LGN,
not-
if you
it's
know
not-
their history, they're terrible at
It's
making games.
it's a beat 'em up because
a
those
solid-
games do get a little bit boring, but it's satisfying. You use your superpowers. You get to be
Yeah.
Venom in that one.
Yeah,
So it's
Venom
Venom and
and
Spider-Man
Spider-Man.
versus Carnage, which is
Exactly.
cool.
Yeah.
And that's kind of like how. And I always imagined when in the Marvel versus Capcom games,
Oh,
the Marvel
yes.
superheroes,
Yeah.
Spider-Man, I always kind of liked him because again, I like that trash talk. You always had those
His
little
air
interactions.
combos were killer too.
Yeah, that's what he was
yeah.
the fast, agile character, which I always thought was cool.
And he also, I love like in the video games, he always talking. He's always saying stupid stuff,
Yeah.
like spider swing and web ball and all that stuff, and it's really cool.
Maximum Spider.
Yeah, Maximum
You bounced
Spider.
off the walls and everything. That's
But for my money, a little bit later. But I think probably the best Spider-Man game was Spider-Man 2 so far on the PS2.
yeah, that was
It
cool.
Excellent.
Oh, yeah.
Excellent.
Well, this new Spider-Man's coming out.
Oh yeah, but
the,
we don't
the
know
one on the
if it's
PS4
great.
that they showed looks
Yeah.
super, super good.
But they're talking about ones that we played. But yeah,
Yeah.
that looks amazing. We
Yeah.
talked about
That's
that.
probably going to be good. I doubt that game's going to be bad. There's like
Yeah.
almost no way that game
No,
could be bad.
No.
But Spider-Man is enduring. I remember being a little kid and we still know Spider-Man. And he's had so many different incarnations and versions. I know
Yes.
they have like a Miles Morales Spider-Man. There's a Gwen Stacy, the alternate universe where it was flipped. So now she's the Spider-Man, Spider-Woman,
Yeah,
and
he's
then
normal.
Peter Parker's the one who died.
Yeah.
So instead of the other way around. So that's kind of cool that they're kind of doing different versions of Spider-Man.
Oh yeah, I think that's cool too. And if you want to talk about just popularity, if they made a Mount Rushmore of superheroes, it'd probably go Batman, Superman, Spider-Man, and Wolverine. That's probably your four right
yeah.
There's
there.
your top. If you literally the Mount Rushmore.
Right, Mount Rushmore.
Yeah,
Yeah, as I said, yeah.
So like, you just those are the characters that are up there.
Yeah.
And you can argue, something
Where they
Wonder
place,
Woman,
yeah,
like that, but
yeah.
those three characters are probably the best
Those
known
four, yeah.
superhero characters ever.
yeah.
And just the iconic design, the red and blue. It's just that Steve Ditko original design.
Oh, my
Yeah.
It's
goodness,
just
yeah.
so good. It's just you see that thing, it's Spider-Man. You just
Yeah,
know it.
exactly.
Just like you see the red S, and the guy flying by in a cape. Oh, that's Superman. You know who Spider-Man is just by the way he looks.
Yeah, and I really like the colors because no matter in movie, video games, comic books, it always looks good. Like I've never seen like that red and blue ever look bad on anything.
Yeah, it's a good. It
Yeah.
matches well. It has that American feel to it. It's
Exactly. It just looks
Exactly.
yeah.
I know the original look, he had the webs on the sun
Yeah.
right here thing. I'm
Yeah.
not a big fan of that,
cool.
but
I can
like
take
it.
them or leave them.
Yeah.
They don't hurt me. They
Yeah.
don't bother me either way.
Yeah, the only one I don't like is the one where he's Spider-Man is like the new Spider-Man wears that jacket, like
Yeah,
that blue jacket.
like,
That's
that's kind of. See, he's had so many costumes.
oh yeah, he's
And
an
then
Iron Man costume.
I think the coolest one again. I always like the original look, and then the different variations of the original look, and then like the Venom suit.
Oh, yeah.
the alien
Yeah.
symbiote too. The black and white is
Yeah.
just like that super cool look.
Yeah.
It just has that idea.
now we're all nothing but been praising Spider-Man, and it deserves all of that. But we have to talk about some of the pitfalls, and that would be the last two Sony movies.
Oh yeah,
Were
I know the funny thing, like
awful.
those are the Spectacular Spider-Man or Amazing.
Amazing, I think
Amazing
it was
See,
amazing.
that
Yeah.
shows how much I don't care about those movies. I don't remember the names of them. I never actually watched them because when I saw Garfield, what's his first name? I forget.
Is this Andrew Garfield?
Andrew Garfield.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like him as an actor. He's a
Yes.
handsome dude, but that's not Peter Parker. He's too cool to be Peter Parker. He's too handsome to be Peter Parker.
He's definitely Norman
cool
Osborn.
Spider-Man. When he's in the suit and he's talking the
Yeah.
crap and being,
But you can't see his face.
you can't see his face, and that works. He's just not a good Peter Parker. I just made the decision, not my Peter Parker.
Well,
and
I saw the first one. It was bad.
The lizard,
But Lizard LeBron, which finally, I'm glad they finally got Lizard Man. Why'd they put him in this movie? Not the other good Spider-Man movies, especially the first two. Wasn't that?
Yeah, I watched both of those. They were not very good. The
seen
first
clips of
one
it.
had a pass, I think. Kind of with the whole, because it had the lizard and they were trying new things, want to see how everything was going to work. Part 2 was just a disaster.
I've only seen clips of either of the two movies, but just the clips that I've seen of Jamie Foxx's portrayal of Electro, is that who he was?
Yes.
He just came off as a flippin' weirdo.
And it's so two-dimensional. It's very flat, the performance.
For Spider-Man, like, he was like a Spider fan. Like, he was like,
yeah.
he'd wear Spider-Man underwear to sleep. Like, this guy loved...
And then he went from loving him to hating him that quickly because he got
crazy.
powers. Yeah, just that's like simple 2D, what people think comic book characters are. It's just simple thinking.
Yeah.
There's no depth to it.
It was just weird, and I've seen a couple of the fight scenes, and then the graphics look well enough. It just, the story was weird, and then you get the whole, Gwen Stacy dying.
dying.
And then, okay, spoilers, we're doing this, but it doesn't matter because they're terrible movies.
Yeah.
The fact is, when at the end of the last movie you see Jeannie Alani, which I think is a great actor, play Rhino, it's so hackney, the Russian accent,
yes.
it's so over the top, it's bad. It's just, don't watch it.
The Rhino in the cartoon, I thought was more believable as a human being.
Yes,
Yes.
And he was in a cartoon for children.
Yeah.
Okay?
And he was wearing a suit, not even like a real metal thing that could ram through walls.
and then going back to the cartoon, just thinking in my mind, I'm just thinking like the episodes that I really like. They had an X-Men crossover episode where he came to the mansion because they thought he was a mutant. Because, they think, he has powers, but they actually realized, he's not a traditional, like, X-Men type mutant.
Yeah.
He got his powers a different way, but they didn't know that. And then they had, like, a big, like, a team-up episode, which is pretty cool.
You know what's interesting about that? Because back in the day, that's how it was. Like, Spider-Man wasn't supposed to be on X-Men or Avengers. Like, they kind of both were like, you're not one of us. So it kind of made him even feel
small
more,
time.
Yeah. Made him even feel more distant and more like,
Even though the heroes don't really accept me.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what I liked about it. Yeah, he was never accepted anywhere.
Well, a few times he even be on the Fantastic Four and he'd pass around, and that's how Spider-Man always was.
Another thing about that Spider-Man cartoon series, the original one, that it introduced me to Blade. Because Blade was in the series. It was that Morbius the vampire.
Yeah.
And the undead vampires.
No, the living vampire.
The living vampire. So stupid.
Yeah, that was the comics code. That's a whole other conversation.
But he's like a genetic vampire.
Yes.
Like, he never got bit by anything. He just had like a...
He feeds through his hands.
It's
and
really gross.
Little circles in his hands,
Yeah, it was really weird in the cartoon because, like you said, you think of vampire and he just goes, grabs you by the, the hand.
Neck, and then he's like sucks it out of you.
Yeah.
And it's cool, though, that they actually give you Blade's origin. Think about how his mom was bit while she was pregnant, and then she went into labor.
Yeah.
So a little bit of that vampire blood went into him, so he's like a natural half vampire.
He's a half-breed, yes.
Yeah, so it's so cool that they actually brought that mystical nature of that Blade into the thing. I'm like, Blade's a cool character. I still think he's a cool character.
Yeah. And
they
also,
didn't bring him back. He was a cool guy.
And also, in the same animated series, they had the first showing of Punisher, too.
Yeah, a little bit of Punisher.
And it was really cool because it was a different tone altogether when Punisher showed up because, like, these bad guys are just, like, taking stuff and being stupid, and then... they're expecting Spider-Man, and Punisher shows up, and then the guy's like, "Oh, you're gonna take me in?" He's like, "I'm not taking you in."
Punisher didn't arrest people.
Yeah, he's like, shows up with a shotgun. He's like, and then Spider-Man, of course, shows up, but
he
like
saves the guys.
Man, but I'm like, in a couple seconds, Punisher would have took care of business.
That would have been like in the episode of Daredevil with Punisher. He just shoots. There ain't gonna be no one. That's not.
Yeah,
it's just so
There's
cool
no cut to this hero there.
How many Marvel characters I remember? I'm trying to think. You get to learn Black Cat.
Yeah,
Doctor Strange.
Doctor Strange was
in an episode. They did
Madam Web.
Dormammu. They did that series. I mean, if you can go back and watch it, if you can just get over the low quality of animation compared to today, back when it came out, the animation was.
What,
suitable.
90, what,
Yes.
97?
It was satisfactory.
But
Nowadays, the animation's a little crappy, but it's a cool series.
Yeah, it had Nick Fury in it too. It had
the
a lot
Shield.
of a lot of superheroes in it.
One of the fun, cool episodes was one of the Madam Web episodes where like he's going to different realities and he's meeting other versions of Spider-Man, like a Spider-Man who was super rich, so he's kind of more of a Tony Stark kind of guy.
But his suit was even iron. It was like an Iron Man suit.
Yeah.
It was great. It was cool.
And then there was like the Peter Parker who never got anything. He's just like a loser.
Yeah,
But the other version you talk about, Wilson Fisk was funding his money.
Yeah.
He was a good guy in that universe.
Yeah,
It's
like
kinda
he's
funny.
like, yeah, Kingpin was a
You
good
know
guy.
what?
Yeah.
Speaking of that story arc, this end of that story arc was so good. It could have been a movie or a comic book. It was so good because the arc goes that Spider-Man that's like down in his luck and never had anything goes evil. He ends up getting like the Venom suit and goes crazy, right? And no one can stop him. No reasoning with him. He's going to destroy the universe. And there's only one person that can stop him. Spider-Man goes back in time, gets Uncle Ben to talk to him.
Yeah, that's so
And
sad.
that is heart touching because
Yeah.
Ben's like, "What are you doing?" You know, like
Yeah.
Peter, you know.
yeah, power comes great responsibility, and I'm like,
That's
dang, that
amazing.
touched me. I'm like, that's a cartoon.
Oh, yeah. Speaking of things that touched me, I have to mention the person that voiced Madam Web was Stan Lee's wife, and she just
passed.
died. Away, so
Yeah,
I
Yeah,
have
she
to
just
mention
passed,
that.
what, like yesterday or this morning?
No, this morning.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so she just passed like a few hours
She had
ago.
such an iconic voice.
That
for
voice
Madam
is cool. The
Web.
Madam Web is such a cool voice, and I also like the he actually goes and Spider-Man meets Stan Lee like in the cartoon.
Yeah, it's our universe.
Yeah,
There is no
it's in our
Spider-Man.
universe because there's no superheroes or anything. And the Peter Parker in that one, it's just a guy playing Spider-Man in a movie.
Yeah.
So he's just an actor. This was kind of funny that they incorporated like, oh, it's just a movie because like, what's this guy doing? What's his powers? Oh, we'll talk about it later. Like he can't do anything. Just a man. He can't do anything.
Yeah,
That was cool. There's so many cool. Of course, there were some bunk episodes here and there, but for the most part, I thought that was a standout series, a solid 8 out of 10.
oh yes,
Easily.
Oh, amazing.
And I also like the fact that it's not really a character, but the gargoyle statue, whose name was Bruce, like he would talk
Yes.
to him. And that character, which was just a gargoyle statue, was a proxy for us as the viewer. So Spider-Man would talk to
Yeah.
him for like therapy. He's like, "Oh, you're such a good listener." Like it's just a statue. It doesn't mean anything.
exactly. He'd always have problems like with Mary J. and then Felicia.
It's like, oh, I don't know. Yeah, that's another thing with Black Cat. That was another good
Yeah.
one. And they brought in Captain America because I don't know if this is only true in the cartoon or not, but she got super soldier serum.
Yes.
So that's why she can do all the things she can do.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that's cool.
We forgot about Secret War.
Yeah, that was another thing they
That
brought
was
up too in
another
that
too,
series.
where he Spider-Man was fighting.
Yeah.
Who was he fighting? Doctor Doom, or was it another? And then he had to pick superheroes.
Yeah, it was like it was kind of
Yeah.
very I want to say Clash of the Titans because they had all the characters like in chess pieces
Yeah,
and
and then
moving
like
around.
it was
cool.
like Doctor Doom. That was the bad guy. Then he picked like I think Spider-Man picked the Lizard Man, which could be human.
Yeah, the doctor.
Yeah. definitely.
So he was like Lizard, but he could have his mind. He had Captain America, Felicia, I think Storm, and someone else. I
Yeah,
can't
that was
remember.
pretty cool. But I know it's
Yeah.
not exactly how the Secret Wars were in the comics, but it was pretty good for a cartoon.
Oh,
version.
yeah.
And notice during all this, we're not talking about Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends, the cartoon.
Oh, yeah, that was-
Firestar and Iceman from the 80s.
See, the thing
Terrible.
is, I never
Terrible.
watched that because I was way young. I was like maybe
Oh, I
4.
did. I was a young kid then. It was.
No, it's just
terrible.
it's a meme machine.
Yeah.
It's just
yeah.
it pumps out memes. That's all the old Spider-Man does.
Exactly.
Those cartoons, I only remember watching one.
On Boomerang, I
On
remember.
Boomerang, yeah, it was Doctor Doom was trying to kill Spider-Man, but he had the most crazy plan of all time. He was gonna make a movie about Spider-Man, and then so Spider-Man goes to Hollywood, and Doctor Doom was like the director, and it's like, oh my gosh,
Didn't he
what
even?
is-
I don't know if I'm just making this up, but didn't he even have the director hat on and everything?
did.
Where he's
I
like,
think he did.
he's where he has like the big horn. You know, I was like, what is
Wait, the
this?
thing is, he didn't even try to disguise himself except
Yeah,
for the
he's
little
so-
hat.
he's
He's
so-
not wearing a Doctor Doom, but he has a hat on. That's so stupid.
it was bad. And then the other one was the X-Men old cartoon.
Oh, yeah,
yeah.
that was
Yeah,
that was
pretty
funny.
bad, too.
But the thing is, like that old one, it's endearing in a stupid kind of way because like they have like a secret lab
Yeah.
and everything. Who's paying for all this? And Iceman, Firestar, they're not rich characters. They don't have
No.
money. They don't have was Xavier fronting them.
Exactly right. I know, right? They also push a button, and their pad becomes this magical place of science. And like, how do they get all these machines? What is
And there was always this weird kind of like with Firestarter or Firestarter. What was
I
it?
think it's Firestar. I think
Yeah,
I'm not sure.
Firestar.
And then like how because
Iceman, yeah.
because Iceman and him were always kind of like, well, she's my girl, she's my girl.
I know, and they're all singing a college thing on campus, and no one questions it. Okay, 2 guys and a girl. Okay,
Yeah, they're living in the same dorm, and someone raised an eyebrow.
yeah, I know, right?
But that was it's if you go back and you actually watch the episodes without people editing them to make them look stupid, they're just okay.
They're
I mean,
all right. They're
you
not
have to
bad
take them
as some.
for the time period that
Yeah.
they came out of.
And then another thing we could talk about real briefly on Spider-Man is the ones from Japan.
Yeah, because
the Power
Japan
Rangers.
got because they got licensing. Was before that though. They had
yeah.
a Spider-Man movie where he was like fighting ninjas.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
I don't even know what
It
that
wasn't
was
all.
called.
It was no,
because
it
they
wasn't the
took
best.
because Japan took the Spider-Man thing and made him more of like a Sentai superhero.
Yeah,
kind of
they
character.
did. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because they had their heroes, but they were more like like the Voltron teams, and they were all
Yeah,
together.
and he even had a robot too,
Yeah.
Spider-Man. So it's kind
So
of
like
funny.
they just kind of put their own spin on those. They're terrible. They're just as
Yeah.
terrible as the
Yeah,
other
they're
things.
not very good. Yeah, I mean, if you want to watch them, you can.
Yeah,
but-
if you're a big fan of
I
Power
know.
Rangers or Super Sentai, you'll run into Spider-Man eventually, and it's like, what the heck? Why is Spider-Man in this world? But it
yeah,
happens.
it's,
so
it's interesting. I just thought I'd mention that.
that
but
was
yeah.
just a funny thing. And it's just seeing how Spider-Man literally can fit in so many different roles because he's so relatable. Any young boy growing up in high school who wasn't the coolest kid in the world, who wasn't the jock, who can relate to Spider-Man's woes.
Yeah.
Because he kind of got picked on. Hey, who's never been picked on? Who's never been made fun of for anything? Oh, Peter Parker has, and he overcame those things. He was the shining light to look towards. Hey, he got over it. He's doing good. And that's why I love Spider-Man.
And then also, I mean, as an adult, you can look up to him, too. Like, you can always say, like, hey, I always do my job. I do my best, and yet I still don't get the girl in the end. Or I don't get the praise that I, not deserve, but I, need. And it's like, it's sad because that's true in life. Sometimes you can do everything right and it doesn't, you don't end up being
that's the
hero.
ultimate thing.
And then I remember when we first read the news, and like I think it might have even been in Wizard magazine. Anyone remember Wizard magazine? But anyways, about the first Spider-Man movie, Sam Raimi was going to be the director, and I was like, oh, Sam Raimi did scary films. He did the Army of Darkness films.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh wow, he's doing Spider-Man. What the heck? How are they going to do a Spider-Man movie? But for one of the first huge blockbuster comic book movies, because we had the Superman movies were in the 80s.
And Batman.
And then the Batman movies, but those really went off the rails after the second one.
Yeah. The second one was bad either.
But a lot of people like to credit Spider-Man for being that big first comic book movie. But I believe the first Blade movie. But since it was rated R,
it limited.
But it lets you show you that you can take a comic book story and make it into a movie. And then Spider-Man was that PG-13 movie that everyone could watch.
Yeah.
William Dafoe hammies up Green Goblin a lot. Like, Spider-Man. He does like this really weird voice.
Spider-Man, right?
But you know what? To his credit, though, Green Goblin is a pretty crazy character. But yeah, he did go.
Well, they say, go crazy Dafoe, and he took it to the next level. The only way Dafoe can do it.
But when you see Spider-Man swinging through the city, and it's I know a lot of it's CGI, but you see him fall into those classic poses where he's laser up and shit like that, and he's grabbing, and he gets on and he connects to the American flag. Like that's so Spider-Man.
I'm gonna take a quote that Tom McFarlane said to relate to what we're talking about when he said, when Blade gets from point A to point B, not Blade, but I mean Spawn, sorry about that, gets from point A to point B, you don't need to know how he gets there.
No one cares.
But in the case of Spider-Man, you have to see him swing. That's just iconic. You have to see him.
It's just like I know they did change things. They made it to where his web shooters were organic.
Yes.
So it does kind of make a little more sense, because if you got bit by a spider, why wouldn't you get all the spider abilities?
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's silly, the mechanical little box and all that.
And
I
the
didn't
thing is,
care for that.
I think Tobey Maguire was a very good Spider-Man and Peter Parker. Not the best Spider-Man in the world, but he was Peter Parker. Well, he played Peter Parker perfect.
He played Peter good, but the only thing I had one problem with Spider-Man was that he didn't talk enough trash. He wasn't.
No, that's why I said Spider-Man's a little lower.
Yeah, because that's what I said. But the other guy did a great job as Spider-Man.
Because it was all trash.
Yeah, he was all making jokes and being funny. Because I like that. Like you said, you want to see Spider-Man talk trash, but like you said, Tobey was. And
then I think the second film just built on the first.
I think the second film's amazing.
The second film is probably the best of that trilogy. The number goes 2, 1, and 3 just because it was created.
Oh yeah, and it had the greatest. It had the classic comic book Spider-Man No More, and it had literally
put it in the
perfect.
trash.
I think literally not only that was pictured from the comic. I mean, that cover was perfect. But to me, the favorite story when he's just Peter Parker and they're playing raindrops falling from your head. I love that scene. That scene
because he didn't want to be Spider-Man anymore, and he thought, "Oh, look how great my life can be."
Yeah.
So, but that's being selfish Spider-Man.
Yeah.
And then he has like that dream sequence where he's talking to Uncle Ben and he tells him, "Sorry, I'm not going to do this anymore." And he's like, "Oh, you're breaking my heart."
And it was sad too because it was like in the same car that he left him. The last conversation he had with them. So I'm like, wow, it's all white in the background. It's kind of cool.
But it all comes back around to I have to sacrifice because I have this power. Yeah. I have to help people.
Yes.
Even though I'm going to get bad grades in college, I'm not going to get the girl I want, but I'm going to save people's lives.
Mm-hmm. And one thing I'm going to say, there's a lot of split, a lot of people, I know a lot of people do love this movie. At the end, when it revealed Peter Parker himself to Mary Jane. Some people hate it, some people loved it. I liked it.
I liked it.
No, another thing we didn't even speak about is the supporting cast. Christian Dunst did a good job as Mary Jane, I think.
Yeah.
And then they, I don't remember his name, but the Jane Jonah Jameson. You couldn't get any better.
Oh, yeah.
He's just like him. He sounds the way you think.
Well, he played Oz, so he was kind of a menacing character in that. But
and it's so funny because when he's starting to come around, it's like, oh, maybe this Spider-Man guy's not so bad. And then he comes back into the costume. Well, I always knew it was
because the crime is like getting bigger. And
when Mary Jane leaves his son on the altar, he says, "Boy, I paid for all this."
He's like, "Oh, did he open the caviar?" Yeah, like he didn't care. His son got left at the altar.
That's just Jameson. That's Joe Jameson at his best.
And like you said, the actor looked like he stepped out of the comic.
Yeah,
like,
it
he
was perfect. He had
hair. He's got the white and then
the voice, the attitude, just that jerky. But that's the thing we can
cigar
relate
in his
to.
mouth.
We all had a boss that we didn't like.
Yes.
And that was Peter Parker had a boss who was a jerk.
Dude, that first scene, and he sees him, he's got the pictures, crap.
Perfect.
And then, perfect, pristine pictures, crap.
He's like, okay, go, wait a minute, no, you don't go yet. Yeah, he's
I'll give you $10, like $10.
Yeah, I give you $10 for these.
He's like, you walk away, wait, come back.
Hey, come back, I love that. Like
Yeah,
I
he's
said,
like, and then if you ask, you don't work for me.
Yeah. You can be freelance. I won't put you on payroll. I'll just pay you on a case-to-case basis. And like he's looking at the picture of Spider-Man. It's like him climbing the wall, the iconic look. He's like squinting his eyes like he can't tell what it is. You know exactly what it is, you
That's
jerk.
great, I love that.
Freaking jerk, man.
Yeah, I love
You
it.
guys remember the first Spider-Man's teaser trailer?
Oh, yeah, when he caught the guys between the Twin Towers.
Yes, that
I
was
remember seeing that
was
trailer.
so cool.
That was
then-
right before
And then 9/11 happened.
Yeah.
But that's a cool trailer.
That is
It
a
is.
way, because you don't know what it is, because you see guys robbing the bank, and you're like, oh, what are they doing? And then they,
I thought it was a Batman movie.
and then they get in the helicopter, and then they get pulled back, and then you see this.
see a
big
giant
spider
web.
web.
I'm surprised people don't take down like the opening scene of the Batman movie with Joker in it, the
It's
Dark
very
Knight
similar.
series. Very similar. I'm pretty sure it's almost frame for frame, almost the same scene.
It's a very
Yeah.
similar,
Yeah.
and it's so cool that such a good trailer had to be destroyed by such a senseless act. But,
Yes,
like,
yeah.
there's nothing you can do about that. That's life.
Yeah, exactly. As horrible as it is.
Then going into Spider-Man 3, again, that's I've never seen it. I've seen parts of it. I've seen some of the Venom fight, but it's just another movie where I saw a clip of emo Spider-Man dancing, and I'm like, yeah, I'm not watching this movie.
Yeah, it was.
I'm not going to watch it. I haven't.
The,
and I won't.
the sad thing is that even seeing the actors in interviews, they were done with the series. They're all talking like, "I'm glad it's over," and all this other like trash about the movie. And I'm like, if they don't like it, then there's no
See,
way the audience is gonna. Love it.
It's funny because I get a lot of crap from people online because I haven't seen Wonder Woman and I will never see Wonder Woman. Oh, you're a Marvel fanboy, and I haven't seen the third Spider-Man film or any of the Amazing Spider-Man films because I don't like them. And I know I won't like them, so I'm not going to waste my time. So I don't care what it is, Marvel or DC. If I decided in my heart this isn't for me, I'm not going to go see it.
Yeah, you even
and that's your choice to do so.
No, Samuel. We watched Fantastic Four. We kind of Mystery Science Theater did. We were watching it and it was really, really bad.
it's just terrible. Don't even waste your time.
That is a tale for another time.
Yes.
That's
Okay.
But I think that the trilogy, one's good, 2 is amazing, and 3 is like, so overall it kind of reminds me of Back to the Future. Good, amazing, and
No,
Exactly.
it's like it really didn't need to have.
third one was
Third
weird
one.
because then I don't know
First of
because
all-
everyone wants Venom, but they did it kind of stupid.
You kill off Green Goblin, which that was already bad enough. Then you kill off Venom, but you keep Sandman alive.
Yeah, he's the
Yes.
weaker of the 3 villains.
Yeah, just kill him. I mean, if you're gonna kill any of them.
And also what made me mad about Venom, it was Venom, but he was skinny and more like, I don't know, like skinny.
Yeah, like he was buff, but he wasn't like.
I wanted the huge.
I want
Venom.
Eddie Brock to look like he looks like an NFL linebacker. He looks like
Yes.
Brian Urlacher.
All I know is it's this upcoming Venom film that Sony's going to plan. If they're going to rated R, better Adele and make him menacing and big. They better make him.
Here's the thing,
like
though.
the
I
comic
guarantee you that movie won't be rated R.
book. I know. I'm just saying, if you're going
because
to.
how do you make it rated R? There's only 3 things that make a movie rated R: extreme violence, language, or sexual stuff. I doubt
Yeah.
you're going to get the last 2. So you're
Yes.
going to have Venom like
Killing people?
blood bursting through a guy's chest.
Well,
and stuff.
I was think it's going to be PG-13
yeah.
too, but I'm just saying if they
Because
did.
They could.
If the Batman movies can be PG-13, then Venom can be PG-13.
Yeah, exactly.
Because if you're doing a scene where, because again, like the symbiote eats somebody, it's going to be like he grabs a guy and pulls him in the
But it's going to be more
Yeah.
cartoony. It's not going to be, graphic. You're going to see.
Yeah, he's
He's not
Blood
gonna,
working
yeah, he's not
with
gonna
his
rip
blood.
someone's head off and then
Like,
take their
drink their
brain.
blood,
Yeah,
yeah.
and just because that's what he.
So I don't even know if that Venom movie.
Yeah.
They see Sony. I don't even know if that thing's even getting made because they say a million things. Like Sony had that when they had that leaked document, wanted to make an Aunt May solo movie before all this stuff was just in the works. There's a lot of things that say they're going to.
Maybe they're just seeing things that will stick. Maybe I don't know. How they
Then we already talked about the Amazing Spider-Man films, which
Yeah.
were just mediocre to bad.
Yeah.
So then we thought Spider-Man and the films were dead. We thought we'll never see another Spider-Man ever again. And then Marvel, then they're like, oh, so they're going to buy the rights, they're going to get Sony, and they're going to work with Marvel because then we had the perfect storm. Sony, for all the people who love PlayStation so much and they think Sony makes so much money, Sony's a corporation that's losing a lot of money.
Yep.
They're breaking even now, I think, or even making a little bit of money, but for the longest time, they were losing billions of dollars a year.
Yeah.
So they made a deal with Marvel, and they're going to get Spider-Man, and it was always that rumor, is he going to be in the Civil War movie? Because if anyone's read the comics, Spider-Man's a huge part of the
yes.
Civil War. But this Civil War isn't the same as the comic Civil
No,
War.
he's a minor part. It's not
It's
as
like
big.
they took parts from that comic series and put it
Yeah.
into the movie just to have a little bit
Yeah.
of that heroes fighting heroes.
Again, like I said, spoiler alert, in the comic books, he reveals himself to be Peter Parker.
Yeah.
in
Yeah,
Civil
because
War.
he believes in the Iron Man way of the whole.
Yeah.
But
I
What
did-
is it?
love
Mutant
that.
Registration Act. It's a superhero
Yeah,
registration
Superstition
act.
Act.
I love that that story arc because he was really torn between the two because he knows that Iron Man has a good valid point that all superheroes should be registered, but he also agrees with Captain America that everyone has the right
To be free, your life. Just because you were born a superhero, like you have superpowers, you have to register them. Well, you didn't.
Exactly.
Yeah, I can understand
And-
like an Iron Man superhero because you made an armor. Okay, but if you were born like a mutant, that's not your fault. You shouldn't have to register with the government just because you were born a certain
Yeah,
way.
Exactly, and it was hard for him to fight against Captain America because he knew in his heart that he was right.
Yeah,
It was hard for him, and
but
that's what I loved about
you're
it.
choosing safety over freedom, and
Yes.
those are always constantly at
Yes.
battle, and that's what made that series good. And then you got that a lot of that in the Civil War in the movie with the
Yes.
Captain America Civil War, and I remember being spoiled because there was someone saying, "Oh yeah, there's a fight scene with Spider-Man and Captain America that's really really good." I'm like, "Oh, I don't know if that's gonna happen." It actually did happen, and that was a super cool fight.
It was
Yeah, it
so
was.
great. The jokes were great in it too.
And just the reveal of him, and it's just I remember thinking, "Oh God, this kid's really young.
Yeah,
I don't know if I'm gonna like this." I saw a picture of Tom Holland when he was there. I'm like, "Oh, I don't know."
super young.
But as soon as you saw him being Peter Parker, you hear him talk, you see him act, you're like, man,
With that
that's
Queen's accent you never thought of before you would hear Spider-Man do, because you didn't think about him having a Queen accent.
Yeah, because Tobey Maguire didn't have an accent at all.
No.
You think you'd have some type of a New York accent.
Yeah,
and it's cool
exactly.
though because then you have the Captain America was a boy from the Bronx and he's from
Yes.
Queens and it's kind of like that. Oh, they got that connection.
Yeah, exactly.
The silly connection.
Because when they were fighting, he's like, "Oh, where are you from?" He's like, "Queen." Yeah,
He's
he's
like,
like,
"That's
Queens."
cool."
He's like,
And it
"Brooklyn."
also shows how strong he is, how casual he's fighting these guys. These guys are doing all their strength.
But
He's
the
like,
thing is, Captain America is a trained soldier, and
Yeah.
he overcame all of his
Oh, yeah,
extra
yeah.
strength.
Oh yeah. And then I love that one part
That's
at the
funny.
end where, like, you know, his Aunt May's like, "What happens?" Like, "Oh, I just got beat up someone from
Some
the
guy named
Bronx."
Steve had a bunch of huge friends.
Yeah.
Yeah. Technically, his friend was 30 stories tall or whatever.
He's like,
Yeah.
"Don't worry, some guy from the Bronx. Don't worry about it."
And after seeing that, I'm thinking, you know what? We have a Spider-Man again.
Yeah.
A Spider-Man I can look forward to. A Spider-Man that I want to see. A Spider-Man I want to see him go through his trials because he's a high school kid. And he's not in college or anything like that. He literally looks like he's like a sophomore. So he
Yes.
has a couple years
Yeah.
in high school.
We could get another movie at least of him in high
Yeah.
school, at least one more, if not
And
two.
what they're saying is that this Spider-Man Homecoming Part 2, I don't know about the working title, but that's going to be start of the next Marvel phase because I'm pretty sure they're going to lose Chris Hemsworth.
Oh,
they're
yes.
going to lose
Chris Evans.
Chris Evans. They're going to lose
Robert Downey Jr.
because those guys are commanding so much dough and they've done it for so long. But I don't mind a torch passing.
No.
I don't want someone else saying, "Oh, I'm Tony Stark," and make it to where Tony Stark gets paralyzed or gets killed and he already becomes the AI,
Yeah.
and then somebody else becomes.
Riri.
Yeah, as long as but the comic books and the movies
I
are
know.
different. If they can put Riri Williams, is that her last name?
I think so.
Riri Williams in the movies, as long as they don't make it like it, as long as they don't make it like her in the
Yes,
in the comics,
book.
where that's just a mess. Yeah, I'll refer you to two other people who've already disliked that garbage.
See, I don't mind Falcon being Captain America.
Yeah, like that
Yeah,
whole
or Jane Foster being Thor. That doesn't bother me.
or the guy playing when a soldier becomes Captain America.
Yeah,
I don't
exactly.
mind that
Yeah,
happening
exactly.
Yeah.
as long as it makes sense. Yeah, I don't mind Jane Foster coming back and then Thor becomes unworthy and then she becomes worthy. As long as it makes sense in the story, I don't care if it's girl Thor, so I don't care. No, as long as it makes sense, I don't care if it's a man or a woman.
And as long as they keep the basics of what the character is, and you can change things, but don't make it too extreme. Don't make
Yeah.
it so crazy where it's
See, just I don't want to start over.
Yeah.
The story needs to keep everything that's happened in the Avengers and all the films need to have happened.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
I think eventually, we're talking 10, 15 years down the road, we can
Yeah.
get it apart. But right now, between now, we don't need that. We don't need
And
that.
with characters like Doctor Strange, the multiverse has been hinted at
Yeah.
Yes.
a bunch of times. So maybe they go through and do multi-dimensional stuff. Like, if anything ever happens with Fox where they say, "Hey, let's play ball, let's bring the mutants in," but where were the mutants this whole time?
Yes.
Alternate
And
universe.
and then they merge.
that solves everything.
Yeah, it would be a great to have
Yeah,
the mutants.
and they're
fight
already
our
kind of
Avengers.
dancing on the edges, those
Yeah, a
two.
little
But so
bit.
far, we're not getting the juice. We're not getting X-23 at MCU
The thing
yet.
is,
Oh, yes.
my dream, we'll never see it, is I've played this in my mind a million times. You just see the Hulk like in his a snowy area, and he just got away from a military facility, so he's like running away, and you see the cameras like up in the trees, but you don't see what's happening, and you just see the Hulk's looking around because he knows something's coming, and then you just see Hugh Jackman Wolverine come out with his claws, and he just goes right at the Hulk, and then freeze frame, end of the trailer, the whole audience, everyone's head would flip and explode.
Oh, yes.
But we're never gonna get that. We're never gonna get Hugh Jackman doing that.
No, exactly.
Or better yet, having like
we're not.
what's it called? Onslaught.
Yeah, or
Onslaught
something
show
like a
up,
huge.
and then you have to have the Hulk, and then Phoenix has to like take away Banner's mind.
Yeah, but that's even more far-fetched than
Yeah.
what he was saying,
Yeah.
definitely.
See, we'll never get that unified. See, that's where DC has the edge on Marvel in the films, is that they have rights to everything. They don't do it well, but they have all the
the
rights.
rights
to
But the
everything.
thing is, I think their characters are harder to write.
Yeah.
And they
Oh,
don't have
yes.
the right writers to do it. That's
That's
the
what I'm
problem.
saying is, how do we as human beings relate to Superman?
You can't.
You can't. Well, maybe being an outsider or something like that a little bit because he is an alien and all that. But maybe I can't relate to that. We can relate to Peter Parker. We may not be able to relate to Spider-Man the hero, but we can relate to Peter Parker the man.
Yeah,
But see, he's always been Superman. Clark
Yeah.
Kent is this guy,
Yeah.
so
Yes.
that's why he's
It's the other way
this
around,
It's the other way
instead of-
around,
and,
yeah.
and I know that people will say, well, Superman's dilemma is doing the right thing or the wrong thing because you have
Yeah.
so much power. But how many times
Do we have that
situation where we could be like, oh, I'm so strong? It depends on if I'm just a good person.
His
or not.
morality is his struggle, not
Yes.
his enemies or his strength.
See, I think I know I don't want to get too off track here where we're talking about Spider-Man, but I think for me one of my favorite Superman episodes was in the animated series. Was when a guy he was Clark Kent. He was investigating this dirty cop, and this cop didn't realize it was
Set
Clark
him
Kent
up.
doing. He set him up and he blew up his car. But that he's Superman, so of course it didn't hurt him. So this fisherman saw him go dive and saw his body go in the water. So then he says, "Well, he's got to be dead." So he's like, "Wait a minute, I have to be Clark Kent. I'll go crazy if I have to play Superman all the time." But this guy says Clark Kent died. What am I supposed to say?
But his eyes are jacked
Jacked up, so that's how they got away
He has
with it.
super bad vision.
See, that's a dilemma. That's
Yeah.
an interesting dilemma because
But you can only do
Superman's-
that once, though.
Yeah, I know.
That's
what
a
I'm
one-time
saying.
deal.
And also,
Yeah.
like you said, it's just like you have those really good moments, but then it's like, can you make a movie?
No,
know,
you
yeah,
can't.
it's
You
hard.
can't. I'm just saying,
Yeah,
yeah.
but yeah, it's just.
But
it's
see,
just
Spider-Man's
hard.
relatable. Peter
Yes.
Parker, like we said before, is relatable to everyone.
Yes.
And the reviews are already out for the movie and everything. I've avoided all those things.
Yeah.
Even YouTubers that I like, I don't go to their
I'm waiting
channels
till I watch the
after I
movie.
watch it.
Yes.
Then maybe I might watch their take on it. But people are already saying that it's a good movie, that it's a solid movie and it's a lot of fun. It's not the most epic storyline ever, but you know what? That's fine.
Yeah.
You don't always have to have these gigantic things, especially for a first solo film. Kind of, though, people go, "It's the Iron Man. It's Iron Man 4 or whatever." Guys, I hate. It's just showing that these worlds are connected, but they always got to crap all over something. So they're gonna say, "Oh, this is just Iron Man. That's the only reason." Why
Yeah,
they're doing
because
it."
you would have liked it if Spider-Man was by himself again, right?
Well, how come Iron Man isn't there? How come he was his friend in Civil
Exactly.
War? Where is he? Those are the kind of people that's being going to pull out my hair. If I had hair, I'd pull it out. And it's just like, you irritate me because you're never going to be happy.
Yeah, and also, when is it not? Oh, you have too many superheroes. That's a bad thing. You know,
Only
like,
when if it gets like ridiculous, like if you have like 15 heroes, only one bag. You're like, why the heck are all these guys in to fight this
well,
one
yeah,
guy?
yeah.
Unless the enemy is like, like an apocalypse type character,
Oh,
where
yeah,
he's like
yeah.
super strong, a
Yes.
Galactus type character. But from what I've seen, I saw I remember when they released the first trailer, then like the Super Bowl trailer. Right there at that moment, I decided I want to see this film, and I avoided everything else as much as I possibly could. You can't control an unskippable ad on YouTube or a commercial on TV, but once I decide I want to see a movie, I kind of shut it all out. I don't watch interviews. I don't do anything. I want to go in with a fresh mind, with as little to know about the movie as possible.
Yeah, exactly. I totally agree with that because that's the only way you can truly enjoy a movie nowadays. Is everything gets spoiled.
Yeah, there was a really funny joke. It was in one of the TV spots. It was on TV with the kids were downstairs watching TV, and it's like, oh crap, I wish I would have saw that in theaters.
That happened to me too, but it was another scene in the
Yeah.
movie, and I'm like, oh, come
I'm
on.
like,
That
oh,
was
that's
so
actually because
funny.
it's one of the things you think about Spider-Man. Like, hey, what if this situation happens and then it happens in the movie? Like, oh, I guess that's what he would have to do. But it's just like, oh, okay, that's funny.
You know, and I've been so lucky. I've not seen anything
Like,
except
you're
for that
seeing-
Super Bowl commercial. That's
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Which was cool. I know they did a thing for the NBA Finals, but I never watched any of those
No,
clips.
No.
Like, I guess it was playing into I got invited to Tony Stark's NBA Finals party. I'm like, okay, that's just stupid, whatever.
That was just silly.
Yeah,
That's
it's
just
just
funny,
silly.
though.
But when this kid's running around and he's nervous and he's like, oh geez, how am I gonna? That's Peter Parker, and we all have been that kid in high school, especially as us kids who read comic books and played video games and watched anime. We were Peter Parker in school.
Mm-hmm.
We got nervous around the girl, or we didn't know. Oh, we're fumbling our papers,
Yes.
and I love it. I love that so much.
And,
I do too.
and I like they kind of translate that in the movie. With
Mm-hmm.
the trailer, I saw a little bit where Peter Parker is being Spider-Man, and of course the villain, spoilers, but it's of course in the trailer it's Vulture.
Yeah.
And he kind of threatens him, and I kind of like that. Peter Parker has that fear of like, can I do this?
Because he's still a kid.
Yeah, exactly.
When a big, strong, older adult will threaten you and you're still in high school and you're kind of like, even though he's Spider-Man, in his heart he's still Peter Parker.
Exactly.
So he's still that nerd who's scared to get stuffed in lockers and, beat up after school. So he still has that child still lives in his heart. Exactly. So he still has that fear.
And what I like with the whole Tony thing being in the movie, too, is that he's trying to help him through that, I think, at least.
And you know how his uncle died and that was kind of like his dad. So this is kind of like, oh, Tony's kind of like my weird uncle dad thing.
Yeah, exactly. And also I like how he doesn't want him to get hurt. Because he feels bad because Tony doesn't like to use him. He doesn't want to be
go in here, do this thing for me.
Exactly, and get killed.
Because he's still a kid, like you were saying before. He's still Peter Parker. He doesn't see him as that adult Spider-Man because he's not there yet. He's not seasoned yet, and he's worried about him.
And I like that. See, that's what from the trailers.
And there's just what I love about this being connected to everything. This can go so many ways.
Yeah.
I mean, how cool would it be if Spider-Man showed up in the Defenders? How cool would it be to see Daredevil and Spider-Man working together? Because that's a team. They do work together. They're both New York street level superheroes.
Even if it was just briefly, even for an episode, I'd be happy with it.
That'd be so cool. Yes. Or even just an off mention, or something like that. Or Daredevil's like, oh, we got other people, like the Spider-Man kid who's doing the right thing, who's standing up for the good, using his powers to help mankind, not to steal from them, not to hurt them. Like, these other people will take advantage of that power for their own personal gain. Mm-hmm. And we have this other guy who's not doing that. And Daredevil likes that kind of stuff. He likes that justice.
Yes.
And that's cool. I like the idea of these things are possibilities. I would love to have the X-Men. I would love to have all that, the Fantastic Four, Galactus, all those kind of enemies and stuff in this world, but I don't know if that's ever going to happen.
It might be a little hard to get that. I'm still hoping for, since Doctor Strange was in the universe now, I was still hoping for Ghost Rider to show up. Even though he's been in Marvel Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and everything, it's just... he's kind of hard to fit in there.
Yeah. But the thing is that Spider-Man has been recreated so many times. There's a ton of cartoon series that I never watched. I think the last one I actually watched every episode, but there was an MTV series that was like in 3D. Yeah. It was like crude 3D animation.
Well, it was early 2000s.
Yeah, it was early 2000s. That's back when
MTV
used to do animation. Remember things like Daria and stuff like that, and Beavis and Butthead, actually good shows.
And then Flux was a little bit more out there, but
insane, but it was a high quality.
Yeah.
It was like a fine wine that you don't know if this is good or bad. It's like what I always described it as, like that funky, stinky cheese that where the rich people eat it, you eat it like, is this good? I guess it's good.
Exactly, right?
Very weird, but that's when MTV took chances. And they did the Spider-Man show, which I thought was pretty okay. They introduced some characters. I think it was a season, right?
I think it was only one season.
And that was the last Spider-Man series I actually watched from like every episode. Like I made it a point to watch it. Then there was like a Spectacular Spider-Man, and that animation was weird. Like his head was short, and he had like a weird jawline.
Was that the one that was on Cartoon Network? Or?
There was one I think there was one on Cartoon Network. Then there was
Disney.
3 on Disney XD.
Oh, that's Disney. Yeah, that's.
There was the Spider-Verse one where that was kind of cool.
Remember the Hyper Bright one with the weird bright colors?
Yeah, there's so many different weird ones, and then there's even a new one that I just saw the trailer for, but the animation is fine. Yes. But it's Disney house animation almost. Like you can tell, okay, that's a Disney XD movie, but it's starting all over again. Yeah. He gets bit by the thing, his friend, but it's more of the traditional Spider-Man because I haven't seen Harry Osborn. Is he in this new movie? Is he his friend? Because traditionally Harry Osborn's his best friend, and his dad is the owner of Oscorp, and he ends up becoming Green Goblin.
Well, maybe in this movie we'll see that. Yeah. We'll see. We don't know.
Yes, and usually that's the conflict between the two.
Yeah, because
they're best friends.
They're best friends, but when he's Spider-Man, he thinks he's the enemy of his father, so he hates his best friend without knowing he's hating his best friend. See, I don't know if they're going to have that dynamic in this new movie. We'll find out. We'll find out in a few hours, actually.
Yeah, because, I mean, you haven't seen nothing of
but that Disney trailer, I watched, like, the thing, and it's basically the basic origin story. Oh, they go to a library, not a library, but a museum thing, and, we're doing this testing on spiders. One spider gets out, bites them, and it's basically that basic storyline. And they're kind of, from the clips I've seen of it, he has the homemade costume from the Civil War movie. Yeah. Where it's just like goggles and a ski mask, and it's just like this weird looking color.
Yeah, sweatpants.
So that series looks like it could be okay. It's hard for me to get into another series and making sure to watch each episode and finding out when it comes on. I mean, the last time I did that was the new Samurai Jack. Yeah. Because I wanted to see it.
Yes, and the problem is with the Spider-Man's new cartoon series is that it's hard for me to get interest. I like, say, Guardians of the Galaxy. They made a Disney cartoon as well as that, and I still didn't watch that. Yeah. So it's hard. It's hard. I don't know why. Maybe because we're older now.
Because there was again, it kind of what happened with the Avengers. There was Avengers Assemble, the world's mightiest heroes, and there was like 5 different Avengers series, and you didn't know if they connected or if they were sequels or remakes or. And that's what happened with Spider-Man. I just lost interest because I didn't know which was the true
And
series.
for me personally, I watch so many series of superhero shows. It's ridiculous. I have to start cutting off things. There's not a time. Literally, you getting to the point where you get to 7, 8 shows. I can't. No more.
I need to go on YouTube and find like a cartoon forum. Like, hey, who can give me the cliff notes for this series and tell me watch episodes 1, 9, 12. Like, so I can condense it as much as possible because I would like to have the knowledge of these series. It's just.
Or at least have like a thing saying like these episodes are good.
Yeah,
like,
these are
watch
the
these.
key
I mean,
episodes.
especially all these new Marvel shows coming.
There's so
out.
many. There's
It's
so many.
ridiculous.
But that's just shows. But again, it shows you the versatility of Spider-Man and his popularity. That he can be. He got remade 3 times in the movies, and seriously, like at least 12.5 times in the cartoons.
Yeah.
He's
And that's
that
not counting
popular.
video games and in the comic books countless times. But Spider-Man's still strong. We still love Spider-Man. We still want to
Exactly.
see Spider-Man.
And actually, for the most part, I mean, like you said, he's one of the most recognizable superheroes, and even for kids, most kids like you, they say Batman and Spider-Man, or Superman.
That's what I said. Those are the ones.
Those are the ones, yeah.
And Superman's kind of fallen off the map because he's not fun. And
Yes.
kids don't like a guy who
Yeah.
doesn't smile. And Spider-Man is like that kid. He's cracking jokes, and that relates to the kids.
And
like, oh,
Batman's
man.
dark, and that's
Yeah, and he's just cool.
Yeah.
He has the Darth Vader thing going for him where he's big, he wears a black costume, and he kicks a lot of butt. We like that.
Yeah.
And Spider-Man is the other side of that. He's bright. He's smiling. And one thing I liked a lot about the trailers is there's a sun. There's daytime. It exists. It's over half the day the sun is out. These action scenes can happen during the day. And it doesn't have to be
Well,
raining. It could just be in daytime.
We're not saying that's against DC, but it is. That's
That's a DC that.
critique.
Wink, wink. It doesn't always have to be raining in nighttime for
Yeah,
people to fight.
exactly.
I know. I like the brightness.
Yeah, and it's cool for-
It makes it look cool.
And then it looks like this movie, from that trailer, we see it looks like he's gonna have some victories, he's gonna have some failures, and he's gonna have to cope with life and Spider-Man. And am I endangering my friends if they know? I don't want my aunt to know because she's gonna freak out. Like, it's cool. I like that. So I'm super hyped for.
Me too, I'm
I
excited.
really want to see it. I'm not like we're not gonna do a midnight show, but we're gonna probably see it sometime in the afternoon tomorrow.
Yeah, probably.
And it's hopefully this is the next step in the Marvel Cinematic Universe where we get to see more stories.
And we get to see one bridge for Sony, so hopefully that can bring more
See,
enrichments
and
to it.
hopefully if they do that Venom film, if it's its own standalone Venom thing, but
That'd
then
be
like
stupid.
Spider, how can you do a Venom movie without Spider-Man in it?
Yeah,
Because
that's
wouldn't the
kinda
suit
weird.
have to be on Spider-Man first
First?
and then go to Venom?
And this already happened, but then how did that happen?
Yeah,
without
exactly.
seeing
Oh, yeah,
it?
remember that one summer on Black? They just make up some BS story.
Or like what Venom's whole thing is to fight Spider-Man too. Like that's like one of the driving things.
because he rejected the symbiote and the symbiote has that hatred towards him.
Yeah.
How dare you reject me? So and Eddie Brock kind of already hated Peter Parker, but as soon as he got the symbiote, he's like, oh wait a minute, Peter Parker's Spider-Man because he knows everything he knew. So it's like, okay, I hate Peter Parker, you hate Spider-Man,
Yes.
let's hate them together, and then that's the whole point.
Yeah.
Exactly. You know
Exactly.
what scene? One thing from the Venom movie I would love to see is that classic where Eddie Brock is talking and the Venom is like
Yeah, it's like a bite over his head.
and then it comes over. That's I want to see that.
That we are Venom.
Yeah,
are Venom.
we are Venom. Yes.
See, that's saying it's not I am Venom, we are Venom because Eddie Brock and the symbiote are two entities.
Why have we only seen that only in the video games and
Yeah.
the comic books and cartoons? Never seen that in the movies. Never in the live action movies ever.
And yeah, well, I like my big Venom. And I
Yes.
know Venom's popular, but he doesn't need to be a hero.
No.
I know they're slowly but surely trying to turn Venom into like this anti-hero,
Yeah.
middle of the ground kind of guy. They try to make him into like a Wolverine type character. He needs to be a bad guy for a little while. Come on, give
Very
us Venom the
wild.
bad guy for about two movies. Then maybe he does something good because there's an enemy so big that they work to work together.
Yeah,
Like a
make it like
Carnage.
that Carnage. Yeah.
But don't just make him this half good guy, half bad guy right at the beginning. I don't want that.
Well, that's what I mean. The parallels. That's what they're doing to Harley Quinn.
Yeah, they just kinda made her into a good guy.
No, she's not a good guy.
And I don't like that. Like the best example I think of Venom was the animated series, the
Yeah.
one in the '90s, because it took literally the whole series for Venom to actually somewhat Eddie Brock to get control of it in his mind. And I like that. It was a whole long process. He hated Spider-Man. He was going to kill him all the way to the very end where he was finally like, okay, I'm Eddie Brock still. Like, I'm still human.
So I remember in one of the cartoon series, I don't remember which one. I don't know if it was one of the Spider-Verse ones, but it was one of the newer cartoons where there's I think it's Flash Thompson. He has the Venom suit, but he has complete control over himself.
Yeah,
And he's
it's
like a
weird. I
soldier?
don't like that.
He has like guns and stuff and like grenades and like, what Venom is this? I'm pretty sure somebody knows the whole story, but I'm like, I kind of like the monster. He's supposed to be kind of like the xenomorph, an alien.
Yeah.
He's supposed to be like this kind of, sneaking in the shadows, and he has these little symbiote go out and grab you and pull you in.
Exactly. He's supposed to be kind of insane because
They
his
turn him
mind
into a
is...
soldier.
Yeah.
See, the only time that was cool was in the Age of Apocalypse storyline when Punisher got the suit and he
Oh yeah, look
controlled
at
it.
the what if like
Yeah.
What if
exactly.
that was funny? And he just looks like Punisher has a Venom friend. He's all
That's the cool
controlling
thing
it.
I like about Punisher. He's a
Yeah,
good
That's
guy.
cool
and
because
what
his
I-
will controlled him.
Yeah, and that's what I like about it, because Punisher had such strong will, but Eddie Brock has no training.
Yeah,
He's
as I said, why would he be able to do
He
that?
had hatred, and it just latched onto the hatred.
Exactly,
Yeah.
and that's what I like
And for
about
people
it.
who don't know, the symbiote, they're not naturally bad. It's just that they'll feed off whatever emotion you have. So Peter Parker, he had the emotion of being, oh, I'm a hero, I'm strong, I'm fast, and then that adoration of being like the hero, and it grew on that, and it loved that feeling, that adrenaline rush when he would fight bad guys.
Exactly.
And then when it got to Eddie Brock, the emotion of hatred. Then it got that emotion into him, and it amplifies
Yeah.
everything.
Oh, yes.
Because
And-
I think one of the best scenes in the cartoon is when he had the Venom suit and he's fighting the Rhino, and everyone's like, "Okay, I give up, Spider-Man." And he's like, "Just get the cops." Like, "Oh, there's not going to be any cops this time." And he picks up this giant metal door, and he's like, "Oh my goodness, he's going to kill the Rhino." And Rhino's like, "Whoa, Spider-Man, what's going on?" And then Peter Parker's like, "Oh my goodness!" And he just throws the door out of the way. He's like, and he just leaves, and the Rhino's like, "What the heck was that? Freaking Spider-Man was going to kill me."
Or that one moment where Spider-Man is he falls asleep and then he wakes up and he's in the Venom suit, like going around town, like the symbiote.
Yeah, he
took
wakes
over.
up upside down, like looking at the building.
Yeah.
He's like, because the Venom suit wants that adrenaline rush again.
Yeah.
Let's go fight bad guys. Let's get that adrenaline.
And
And then he realized this thing's no good for me.
yeah, and it's kind of creepy because the symbiote kind of thinks like Spider-Man's the perfect host, like
Yeah.
the perfect everything. And so, like you said, that's why
When
I
he
felt-
rejected him, he felt then that symbiote learned rejection. It's like, hey, screw this guy. He didn't
Yeah.
want me. We'll make
Yeah.
him wish he never left me, and that whole thing.
Yeah, the whole
Exactly.
gal's girlfriend.
See, that's and me personally, I don't care that the symbiote is an alien.
I don't
It's
care
fine.
either.
I don't want the symbiote made in a lab because there's a whole planet of symbiotes.
Yes.
Which is something that they dealt with the Guardians of the Galaxy. They actually found that the home symbiote homeworld. But I like the idea that there's a whole planet out there filled with these things.
We're talking about a Marvel universe that has all kinds of things that are strange and unusual, and we can't accept the fact that he might be an alien.
Yeah, some
It's
people
beyond
really
me.
like. I remember bringing this stuff up in forums, and people and they're like really upset that it's an alien. Why do you care?
I like it's an alien. It makes it cool.
You accept all these other things. You accept the god from Asgard. Oh no aliens! Are you kidding me?
It's always been a weird thing. I don't know what it is with people.
99% of the Guardians of the Galaxy are aliens.
Yes, exactly.
So this
Yeah.
one thing can't be an alien.
You accept freaking Rocket being a talking
yeah,
raccoon.
talking raccoon, but
That can shoot guns and not fly. You
Yeah,
know,
And
like
is sentient and can think. Yeah, I know.
fly back.
So I want, if they do introduce the alien, I want it to be an alien thing. This is my dream fantasy. During Infinity War, they're all fighting. They're fighting Galactus. They're like on some space station, and then they're like, "Oh, we were trying to recover." And then that Venom suit gets on Tom Holland, and it gives him that strength to help them during the Infinity War, and that leads into the next one. That would be my dream come true because it's kind of like
that'd be
because that's kind of what happened in the Secret Wars. In the comics, Spider-Man's costume got all jacked up. It's like, oh crap, I need something. And then there's this black goo, and it kind of got in his hands. He's like, whoa, what's this? And it made him stronger, faster. And then they brought about the whole thing about where it came
But see,
from.
it's this fact that they are connecting together with Sony and MCU. That could happen.
That could happen. That is
Yeah.
a possibility. And I think that would be the best way to do it because don't do Venom without it being on Spider-Man first because he wouldn't have spider powers.
yes, exactly. It'd be kind of
Yeah, people don't realize is if, like, say, this Venom suit was real and got on me, I wouldn't have Spider-Man powers because it didn't take it from its previous
Yeah.
host.
It would make you stronger, but
And then if it went to someone else, it would just have that multiplied strength of a human, but it wouldn't have superpowers. It wouldn't have the webs or anything
No.
like
yeah,
that.
wouldn't.
exactly.
And the one thing I was kind of liked about the Venom character is Spider-Man's spider sense doesn't work on him.
Mm-hmm.
So he can't use that to fight him. So when he's fighting him, it's all his own wits. So if he's looking around and Venom's sneaking up on him, there's no warning and he can just get him.
And also, it's cool too. The webbing that Venom uses is like 10 times stronger.
Stronger and it's thicker too.
Yeah, so
little
it can't break
touches
it.
like that.
Yeah,
And just that
work.
Venom cover. I still have the comic somewhere where it's just him on the cover and his mouth is just open and his tongue's all crazy and like you see like the green ooze.
that's
It's like,
cool.
this the guy's scary.
yeah. And also, would be another good thing Sony should do since they're working with Marvel a little bit. Ask to take Juggernaut. Oh wait, no, they don't own Juggernaut.
No,
dang
that's
it,
fine.
dang
That's-
it. Because that was a big comic book with issue number 1 with Venom was him fighting the Juggernaut.
Because that's a cool fight.
Yes. Oh,
See,
that'd be a
that's
great fight.
an interesting fight because he's so malleable, the Venom, so he can, like, if you punch him, he can kind of just go and just, like, reach around it.
Because in the comic books, he survived like a Hulk smash.
Yeah.
Hulk clap.
Well,
like,
the
that's
thing is,
powerful.
But it's so funny that you mentioned Juggernaut. Because technically, he's not immune.
Yeah.
So if MCU wanted to, they could fight it, but then it'd be a whole mess.
it'd
I mean,
be
yeah,
mess.
we're talking about a giant mess here.
Yeah, a
see,
big
that's
old
the
mess.
one thing but the thing is, it's a blessing in disguise because if the MCU had the X-Men, would they just lean on Wolverine?
Oh, they probably
Probably.
would have.
So it forced them to bring characters like the Guardians of the Galaxy. It forced them
And
to
Inhumans to another
because
extent,
people don't realize
yes.
Iron Man was kind of B-list before the movie.
Oh, very.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was on the Avengers. I don't even think he had his own book at the time, for the most part,
No.
and he brought him back to the forefront. So I think literally everything happened the way it needed to. But now that the MCU is literally head and shoulders above everything anyone ever expected a comic book movie to ever do,
Yeah. Oh,
I would like to start maybe somehow, because with like we discussed, the multi-universal thing, bring some of those heroes over. Have Doctor Strange bring X-23 into the MCU. How cool would that be? Just for like, oh, I can do this thing, but we can only have this person for 3 days, or some spell, and then you bring over somebody like that. That'd be so cool.
And then we need to bring Marvel and Capcom.
Yeah, bring him out of the MCU.
Yes,
So
yes. That'd be so. Chris Redfield, watch out! That'd be so dumb.
Hey, Ryu, Chun-Li, come here.
Exactly.
You guys just throwing a fireball. He says, "Who the hell is this guy?" Because people know who Spider-Man is. The general public does not know who Ryu is. They do not know.
I
How's
love
this
when that
karate
demo for
guy?
a new game, they just know each other. They don't
Yeah, that's
even
funny.
question it.
Yeah.
But with Spider-Man, it's been up and down. The whole history of Spider-Man's been a big roller coaster, and I think we're starting to climb up on that hill. We're not going back down yet. We're still climbing up that hill. And I think Tom Holland, he's such a young kid. He can do 5 movies.
Like I said, we've got a bright future. He's got another 10 years easy.
Yeah, he can be the face of Marvel again. Spider-Man can be that face again.
Yeah.
And Marvel just even their mediocre films like Thor 2 are still watchable movies. They're still competent films.
Oh, yeah.
They haven't had a dud, like a movie that was like, oh my goodness, that was crap.
There hasn't been like, let's say.
I think Thor 2 has to be that movie that was like, ugh. Like that was just
Well, Iron Man 3 might have been the only
Oh,
one.
yeah,
Oh
think
yeah,
Iron Man
Iron Man
3
3 was but it wasn't like, let's say, Elektra bad.
No,
but it just wasn't the standard.
It
you're used
was
to.
like,
That's a
I would
6
say
out of
maybe
10.
like
I give Iron Man a 6 out of 10, and I give Thor 6.5, 7 out of 10.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
those are still watchable films.
Oh, yeah.
I'm so glad
Not
I watched
worse
them.
Here's the
Marvel
thing:
movie.
is that case in point, they're doing reshoots. I read an article today. They're doing reshoots on the new Thor movie Ragnarok coming out this November. And I'm not worried one bit. It's MCU doing it.
Yeah.
But then I hear reshoots from Justice League in DC. I'm worried because it's already going to be bad. It looked to begin with. It looked bad.
It's just one of those things where, and I want every comic book movie to do well because I love comic books. I love the superhero genre. I love superhero fiction, and it deserves to be told. And especially younger kids need to learn who Spider-Man is. They need to learn that he's an upstanding person, and he stands for what is right. And even though it hurts him, he still does the right thing. Kids need those heroes. What was it? C. Clark Lewis, the guy who wrote the Lion, Witch, and the Wardrobe, the Narnia books.
Yes.
C. Lewis, and I'm going to mess up the quote, but I'll find it. But he's like, surely children will face great adversities in their lives. Let them at least hear of great warriors who fought dragons and who went up at great things. Let them at least hear about these things. Even though they're not real, they can have that in their heart. Like, oh, I remember that story about that guy who he went through a hard situation, he did the right thing.
Yep.
Children need these stories.
Yes.
And it's important that these characters are good. Oh, it's boring that he's a good guy. So what? Again, we saw that worked out for Superman, where all he does is boo-hoo-hoo the whole time.
Yeah.
We need someone who can boo-hoo, but you know what? He dries his tears, puts on his cape, and he flies out there and he fights the bad guy. We need that.
Gets back up no matter what, and he's going to do
He gets beat down, he goes again. We have that, it's kind of like, like in the first 3, the original trilogy for Star Wars, we were at a high note, low point at the end of the thing, like, how the hero's ever going to come back, and they come back in Return of the Jedi. That's the hero wave.
Yes.
You got great success, you have a great loss, and then you have a greater success.
Yeah, like what you think when you see Superman in the new movies is like, what's his motivation to be a superhero? It doesn't seem like he even has one.
I guess I have to do this.
Yeah, that's not. I don't want that. You got to give me a reason. It doesn't make any sense to me.
See, Spider-Man has a reason. Like in this one, even from the trailers, like, I got to prove to Tony Stark I can be a hero on my own.
Yeah,
exactly.
I like that. It's like he can save people. He has a strength and ability to do good things.
Yeah, he doesn't have to be like babysat by the Avengers to be like, oh, we gotta make sure you're
I know
okay.
what
He's
the
like,
right
no,
thing
I
to
can
do
this.
is I'm going to do the right thing.
Exactly.
And I don't need someone's permission to do the right thing. Especially when I know in my heart it's the right thing to do.
Yep.
Yes.
Definitely.
And so Spider-Man, I believe, has his best years are yet to come.
Oh, yes.
And it's just crazy how, just the thinking back, it's been 50 years of Spider-Man stuff.
Oh, yeah, since the 60s.
Yeah, from the 60s. It's been this character has been in media in some form or another for forever. Generations have learned this kid, and we still love this guy.
Yeah, I mean, even from music, everyone remembers the Spider-Man theme. Spider-Man, Spider-Man. Yeah, exactly. And I'm telling you, he's in every little thing.
You can hum that bar, and people know it. They just know that because Spider-Man is so iconic. We love him. And again, a lot of people hate this, but he is that American gumption that we love. That's why we love MCU Captain America, not comic book Captain America. We love MCU Captain America because he stood up for what was right. He was bullied, and he's going to do the right thing because he's a cool guy and he believes in freedom.
Speaking of these, even though it's not the one a lot of people think, but I like the one from the 90s cartoon. That one was cool. Yeah, Radioactive Spider-Man.
And of course, had Venom and all that.
Spider-Blood. Spider-Blood. That was a cool...
that was great.
But that goes to show you how this character is so likable that he can be rebooted so many times and changed so many times and evolved so many times.
The first issue of, I think it might have been Fantastic Tales or Amazing Tales 17. I'm not sure about that. But Spider-Man, a bad beat up one can go for $10,000 now.
Yeah, like one with rip pages and drawings and everything.
That just tells you how.
And that pose is so iconic.
Oh yeah,
he's carrying the girl and he's doing the thing.
With his arms like that. Yeah, it's
there's so much history. Like if you watch just there's a documentary called The History of Comic Books, right?
Yes.
Where they talk about all comic books, but there's a section specifically for Spider-Man. Watch that and you'll learn so much about the creation, about how he was shot down. Well, people are scared of spiders. How can a spider be a good guy?
Yes.
Oh, we'll throw him in, we'll put him in the throwaway book. And he becomes a standout star, and people love this kid. And then you hear Stan Lee speak about Spider-Man. You can see it's almost like he's pitching it to us.
Yes,
like
he's very excited.
This is like the first time he's talking about this character. Get this, guys. There's this kid named Peter Parker, and you can tell he loves the character. And that's when characters are good, when the creators love their creations.
Yeah, when they're sitting there, and then you got
I believe it's still on Netflix. This documentary, right?
Is it?
I don't think it is anymore. I think
but you can find it on YouTube.
You can find it on YouTube, but it's not legal. But you can find it on YouTube.
Yeah, it's definitely worth watching. It's a great series, even just for if you just want to check out Spider-Man stuff. But it does all comic books. But it goes to show you that is the American fiction. There's the great poets and writers of time past. Comic books is kind of like that thing of the superhero, where it's kind of like an American thing, and they had American values, and where we cared about things and wanting to fight and do the right thing. We don't always come out smelling like a rose at the end. Sometimes we thought we did the right thing and it was bad, but as a hero, we strap up our boots, we put on our capes, we pick up our shield, and we go out there and we defend the good guy.
That's what we do.
And that's what I love, those values.
You got to defend your homeland, your country, and regardless of what outcome comes out, at least you can say that I did my part.
Yeah, I did what I could with the time that I had
and the power that I have.
Yeah,
yep, definitely, I agree with that.
And that's why I love Spider-Man. And I want to see him. I want to see Tom Holland be a great Peter Parker and move on and own that role and stand with Chris Evans. And when I close my eyes and think Captain America, I see Chris Evans. Mm-hmm. Yeah. When I close my eyes and think of Iron Man, I see Robert Downey Jr. Yes. So now when I close my eyes and think, it used to always be Tobey Maguire. Now I think Tom Holland has that ability to take it and make it his own and own this character.
And think about this. He did this because the movie hasn't come out in the States yet. Well, it is definitely. We're watching the midnight release right now because this has this recording's going. But we only got 20 minutes of him in Civil War. And he replaced Tobey Maguire, who did a good job as Spider-Man.
We fell in love with this kid. We fell in love with this kid with so little.
Yeah.
And they did the best thing they possibly could do. So how'd you get these powers? He's like, oh, okay, I don't care.
Yeah, we don't need to know anymore.
Tony Stark said what every person in the universe is saying about it. We know how he gets his powers. Who cares?
And I love that they learned that, because you know how many times we've seen Batman's
origin? Yeah, they said.
How many times his poor parents going to get shot?
Yeah, how many times he's going to get shot?
Them and Uncle Ben are standing in line. Oh, I'm going to get shot again.
Yeah, and like you said, we all know it. We all know the classic line, with great power comes great responsibility. And it's nice that we get to skip that, and yet maybe they can bring it up later, or maybe a flashback later, but it doesn't have to be this big, long explanation.
I think in the Batman alone, like I've probably said this before in one of our previous podcasts, it must have been literally, I've seen Bruce Wayne's parents get killed, Tom and Martha Wayne, 4 or 5 times. I mean, it's ridiculous.
Martha!
No, it's no Martha.
No more of that.
Your mom's name's Martha too? No way. Dude, did we just become best friends?
I know. I don't want to. We don't want to harp on that with Batman v Superman, which is another dumb title. It's just stupid. The whole premise that was stupid.
Yeah. But it just goes to show you, when you have real heart, it's remembered forever and it's cherished.
Yeah.
That line.
Oh yeah.
Great power, great responsibility. That line is cherished, and you can actually use it in real life to explain things to your kids and stuff.
Oh yeah, very.
That thing.
And the best thing about it is, and also it's in that documentary, see that Stan Lee goes, Well, people ask me when I come with a line, I go, I don't have no idea. I just came up with it. I know what it came
Yeah,
from.
nothing kids like I thought. Oh, that sounds good. That sounds like something you'd read in an Aesop fable. It's something you can always lean on. It's a thing that you can always think. You know what? I have this great power. I got to do great things with it. So I'm up on Spider-Man. I am so glad because I'm thinking, oh, another reboot. But hey, it's working out. It's doing great. We forgot about the other films. And we're moving forward with these films.
And those last two, I was just like, oh my goodness, Spider-Man. Now I'm like, oh my, Spider-Man. Yeah. I'm excited again.
Yeah, you get to see Spider-Man, and whatever outcome is, good or bad, if it's good, it's great. Spider-Man can be its own thing. If not, he can always be the side character in all the other Marvel movies.
Yeah, and like we said earlier in the beginning of the podcast, the new video game for the PS4 looks amazing.
Oh, yes.
So literally, if this is one, we can have Spider-Man the video game character.
Exactly.
And that works out, and that looks fun. And
how cool would that be? Maybe not as many was Assassin's Creed, but like maybe a little franchise video games.
Yeah, I think once a game gets to part 4, it falls apart.
Oh, yes.
Unless it's like a huge RPG type thing and it takes years to make, but I don't want to see an annual release for the Spider-Man games, but maybe once every couple of years. And it looks like the Insomniac Studios, the guys doing it, they did all the stuff. They did early PlayStation games. They did the is it Naughty Dog or is it Insomniac? I forget. I think it's Insomniac. So they did Sunset Overdrive for the Xbox.
That was fun.
And they did other stuff for the PlayStation. I can't believe I'm drawing a blank on that, but. They looks like they love the characters. They love Spider-Man, so they're going to do him justice. That's the thing is, it's almost like I wish there's a way you can interview someone and see the love in their heart for something. Because if you don't have the love for the heart for the character and I'm not saying you are beholden. It happened in the comic book. It has happened in the movie. But to respect it. You don't have to do an exact copy, but just have respect for it. That's all.
Yeah,
and realize if you don't know if you're not sure about doing something, you do your own thing. Don't do it. Just stick to the comic.
Yeah,
if you can.
or just dial someone up at Marvel. Hey, I'm thinking about doing this with Spider-Man. Can we come up with the Spider-Man writers who've written in the past, who've written now, and we can have like a jam session and we can talk about
the ones who did those
Exactly.
issues that can help me out in this particular scene.
Like what happened. A great example of that is like when an actor or a person that loves a character so much. And they want to defend what they think of that character is. Like Chris Evans, when he found out that Captain America was a secret Hydra agent, and he was devastated. He's like...
It actually hurt him.
Yeah, because he's like, no, that's not who I am. Almost like in a sense. And then Marvel had to come out and say, oh, there are two different universes and stuff. And it's like, yeah, even when you're actors like Chris Evans, like, no.
If that's how they get rid of Captain America in the movies. They make him a secret bad guy the whole time. I will disown the MCU for the rest of my life. You do not do that to my... You did to my comic book hero.
Chris Evans wouldn't even do it. I know he wouldn't do it. Fight that.
Oh my goodness, that'd be crazy. That's a nightmare scenario.
Oh yes, it's Barry. If you want to see the
someone
MCU
hired
crash.
Zack Snyder to direct a new Captain America movie.
He's not doing this. Oh my goodness, the see Kyle move. Oh no, thank you.
They got Joe Schumacher. Oh no, they pulled him out of retirement.
But I'm glad Spider-Man's still in the public's eye. People still love it. Even people who know nothing about comic books will see this movie, and I'm pretty sure they're gonna have a good time. From what I'm seeing, like in the commercials, like you see, of course, you always see the best reviews. But for the most part, people are saying it's a fun movie, and that's all I want from Spider-Man. The first film should be fun. The second film should be a little more drama, because then maybe you throw in like the love interests and
a new villain's gonna show up.
New villain show up, and then he's gonna go into the Infinity War. Let that be the epic Spider-Man story. Let that happen in Infinity War.
Yeah.
Let the Spider-Man standalone films be more about Spider-Man. Be small scale.
Okay, a question which is kind of just a weird question. What kind of spoilers are you hoping for any other Marvel movies?
Oh, yeah, like what are they going to lead into? Like, are they going to... Do we see Captain America stuff in this film? Black Panther stuff in this film?
Do you see a Ragnarok? You see Thor?
Do you see Thor come back?
I think Thor might be a little maybe at the end.
Because there's always stingers. Like, what if you see the clouds open up and you see the Rainbow Road thing come through or something?
Exactly.
Like, so, I'm trying to... I didn't even think about that.
Or maybe Doctor Strange, because he's in New York City and maybe...
The bad guy, for a bad guy, so we got the Vulture in this one. Do we bring back the Octopus? Do we bring back the Green Goblin? Do we... Hobgoblin?
But the thing is, you got to have Osborn first.
Yeah.
Before. At least, something.
Sandman, Mysterio, like
Mysterio would be kind of cool because Mysterio we haven't seen on screen, and that'd be kind of cool because of all the mystic.
How cool would it be if we see Fisk, we see Kingpin in this film? How cool would that be?
That would be so awesome.
Because
in the Marvel TV, he's perfect.
He's that bigger guy, but you know what? He's also dangerous.
I like Michael Clark Duncan's when he played
interpretation
him.
Of the
interpretation was good. Of Wilson Fisk, but the guy in Ronald does it from the TV shows. Excellent. Tortured soul. He doesn't want to do. He wants to do right, but he does it the wrong way. So you know what? But it's the only way I can get it done.
Yeah,
that perfect kind of.
He wants to have family and love, but he doesn't even understand what those things are.
he
so he
doesn't.
doesn't. He gets them in the wrong ways, but
Yeah.
he honestly doesn't know because his family was garbage. His dad abused him and treated him like trash,
And made him take the fall for crime, and then
so
he
you
went to
feel like, well, is
prison.
this what fathers do? Is that
Yeah.
what? So
Yeah.
he's that torture. Yeah, like you said, he's that tortured soul, and that like is he in the movie? How come? Because the Kingpin is a big part of the Spider-Man
yes.
mythos.
I'm
Sinister
gonna
Six
take a
comes
scene.
from that.
I'll take a scene from the TV series when he finally gets arrested. Because before he gets arrested, he buys a painting from this girl and ends up marrying at the very end of the first season, or Daredevil. And the painting's just a blank wall, and he just stares at it because when he was a kid, his dad would force him to look at a blank wall. And now he's in prison. All he's doing is looking at the blank white wall. So he's just doing the same.
Yeah,
thing.
like, oh, look, everything happens no matter what I do, the same things
Yeah,
happen.
exactly.
So
Here
he
it
has that
is.
I don't give a crap attitude.
Yeah, that's why he
Yes,
gets
yes.
like that. Yeah.
And see, that's what makes a multifaceted villain. That's what makes it
Yeah.
where you can, you know what, I kind of see why he does what he does. I don't agree with
You
it, but
have to
I
have
see how it
something
happens.
Exactly.
relate to a point.
And I love that about what Spider-Man's villains. A lot of them are really good, well-written villains.
They're cool guys. They're cool
yeah,
guys.
there's reasons why they're doing this. They're not the stereotypical villain that wants to just kill
See,
Spider-Man.
you have a vault of villains and characters that you can keep Spider-Man movies going for at least
Oh.
three. Again, a trilogy. I always like I said, by the fourth movie, things start to go flatline, but you have enough to do 5 movies. You really do.
Oh, yeah.
Especially if you're mixing in the other MCU stuff.
Yep.
Yeah, because you have all their villains too.
Yeah, 'cause if you think about the bad guys in comic books, the great bad guys for great heroes. I mean, it goes X-Men, then I say Spider-Man, then I say Batman.
Yeah,
Those
they're
are your
all
three.
have
Those
great
are three
villains.
villains. The
Yes.
villains are very interesting.
And because their villains have to match their heroes, so they're not going to be all super mega powerful
Yeah.
because Spider-Man can't beat a Galactus. Spider-Man can't beat, some of these godly type
Dormammu,
enemies,
yeah.
but he can fight some of these kind of lower level guys like the Lizard and Sandman and Mysterio, Electro, Shocker, all those kind of guys. Again, it's just you have all these characters, do them justice, respect them, don't give them goofy voices, don't make the Rhino a giant machine
Yes.
with the world's most fakest Russian accent. Don't do that.
I know. And
no.
Yeah.
Because what was his motivation? He stopped doing a bank robbery. Yes, that's enough to maybe cause you to hurt someone or kill someone, but we need something more than
Yeah.
that. Like, why was he just
Yeah.
so? Ugh.
that hammerhead guy who worked for we worked for Kingpin. He had like a flat top. It was like a metal
Yeah,
head.
and he was
Like
in
that
metal.
guy- Yeah, like his power was like running into things with his head. Okay, that guy you can leave him out.
Yes.
Another guy.
Everyone's got their
silly.
Zeke.
Yeah, you
bad
got your
villains.
crappy baseline bad guys.
Yeah, he was more like dude, if you didn't have a metal head, you're just a
You're just
realistic
an ugly
mob
dude.
guy.
No,
Yeah.
you're just an ugly dude with a metal head.
Exactly.
But there's a wealth of villains with good character development that you can put in these films.
Exactly. I agree.
So that's our journey down Spider-Man lane. Unless you got
basically.
anything you want to bring up.
No, not really. Just
So-
excited.
So all the way from being a little kid to being a full-blown adult, I still
Same
love
here.
Spider-Man. He's still a cool guy, and I still want to see him succeed.
Me too, and that's the story of Spider-Man. I think the story that we could be Spider-Man.
Yeah,
Look at me and
we're
us.
Peter Parker.
Exactly.
All those nerds in high school that read comic books and didn't get the big dates on Friday night and were more happy to go see midnight showing of Star Wars than they were to go hang out at the mall. This is your hero,
Yeah.
and he cares about you. And then it seems like this Disney and Marvel and the MCU know that, and they care about that too. Which
Yep.
is I'm so glad they're doing
It's
that.
amazing.
And the struggle of being good and evil and being your
Selfish.
selfishness and then
Yeah.
being selfless is what brings Spider-Man who he is and makes him so relatable throughout the generations.
And being a hero it doesn't mean you have to be perfect. It just means that you have to learn from your mistakes and try to do the right thing
Yeah.
that you feel in your heart is the right thing.
yes.
Exactly. I agree with that.
So,
Psyched for the movie.
Yeah,
Can't
psyched.
wait.
Definitely gonna see it tomorrow.
Me, we're going to see it tomorrow in the afternoon at the latest if we can't.
Yeah,
see
it's
it in the morning.
probably around noontime. We'll probably
Yeah.
go see it. But we'll have an episode with a quick little recap.
Recap to
Not
see
a
what-
not a full blown review, but of thoughts and feelings type of podcast. Probably on Saturday.
Exactly.
I'll upload that one.
And I want to talk about briefly what games I've been playing. All
Oh.
enough is what we're talking about. Marvel Heroes Omega I've been playing.
Yeah.
It's been okay. I like it. It's a classic Gauntlet style.
If this
type of
wasn't
game.
free, I wouldn't play it.
No.
No,
If I had
yeah.
to pay money, it's just a basic kind of online. The only thing that sucks is you can play any character in the roster only up to level 10. Then you have to buy the other characters. You can buy them with in-game currency, but I'm almost halfway to buying because I want to get Gambit because they didn't have Nightcrawler, so Gambit's my second favorite X-Men. He's 750 points and I have like 300, I think, and I've gotten like 12 characters to level 10.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to get points, but it's like you have to pick one of the weaker characters, but then you're like, I don't want to pick a different
I don't want to
character.
waste my coins on a weak character.
Yeah.
Did he give us Daredevil for free? So I got him level 20. So he can get all the way up to 60, and I think he can revert back, and then we get a bonus though.
Yeah, you get a bonus.
Yeah, so
ability.
it seems it's okay. The game's okay.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say it's this is the because I think Marvel Ultimate Alliance was probably the best Marvel RPG thing.
Oh yeah, we actually
Yeah,
had
the first one. Part 2
yeah.
had a lot of bugs, but it's in that style, so it's top down. You beat things up, you gain powers, you get new abilities.
I think so far I've only been playing for a few hours. The thing I love the best is the interactions
Oh, yeah,
with
they
the
have
other
fun
heroes.
interactions.
Oh, yeah.
I know that should be the reason why you play a game, but that's one of the.
It's just fun to see. Like,
yeah.
I think the funniest line is because Blade's in the game. Again, I love Blade. If I was gonna spend money on characters, Blade would probably be one of them. But like he sees Rocket Raccoon, and he's like, oh, for a second there, I thought you were some kind of tiny werewolf and I was going to kill you, but you're a space raccoon. Oh, I guess, I don't care about that. As long as you're not like a mystical being. And he's like, I was going to stab you.
Yeah.
Little werewolf.
I remember I spent my points in the game and I got Hawkeye. And then whenever I'm around like a Cyclops or whatever, it's like, hey, you want to do some target practice together? And
Yeah,
like,
funny little things
who
like
can
that.
shoot more and shoot, from the lasers.
I like Gerald's when there's a guy who was playing Spider-Man and he goes, "Why do you always gotta crack jokes all the time, Peter? Why can't you be serious?"
Yeah, it's like, because Spider-Man's always like, oh man, that wasn't worth my time. He's always saying some stupid joke. But that's a pretty cool game. It's also available on PC and PS4.
Yeah.
So if you have one of those things and you like characters, it's free.
Give it a
Yes.
shot. Yeah,
There's like a complicated crafting system.
I still
That
haven't
I
understood.
looked at it. I'm like, you have to have items and you have to put them together, and it's like, oh, geez, that's
and then
a
you can
mess.
donate stuff, and I don't know what that
Like, I
does.
don't know.
It's
all the
weird. It's
mechanics.
like for a game that's all simplified, it's an unnecessary burden to have that when
I
everything
think
else
you
is
can
simple.
play the game completely without doing any of that stuff.
Yeah.
But I guess there's like certain ways to get better items because you can equip items and stuff.
Yeah.
like
Well, I'm
that.
not gonna learn all
There's
that.
like legendary weapons too. You can get like, of course, like I don't know, like Mjolnir, the Thor's hammer.
Yeah. I mean,
Stuff like that, but
yeah, it's fine.
Yeah.
you
It's
don't really need it.
it's definitely a basic game, but it is free to play.
Yeah.
We can't expect too much out of something that's free.
yeah. That's
So
And
definitely seeing Spider-Man tomorrow, and
Yes,
I
can't
think
wait.
we're finished up here, right?
yes.
yeah. I think
Yes.
that's it.
So thanks for watching and listening. I'm signing off. Your host, Crimson Sin.
Ep14 PCA.
And Native 454.
Thank you for watching, guys.
Bye.
Bye.